Today we will talk on tenders, and because tenders are very delicate, so deliberately we have kept its heading as tenders handle with care, and this is one part. We'll come out with a series of tenders. Tender means delicate, as we know, so tenders in the works are also very delicate, and they have to be handled with care, as they can change the meaning, particularly of the conditions or the provisions, if not prepared well or properly. Tenders are so delicate that if we are not handling with care, then it is not only the person who is preparing the tender document, he may be in trouble, but also problems may be faced by any person who is involved in handling it. If we talk about the stages of tenders, then they can be jotted down as preparation of tender documents, then publicity of tenders, receipt and opening of tenders, custody of tenders, scrutiny of tenders, acceptance of tenders, rejection of tenders. Because all these tenders, after its acceptance, they get converted into the contracts. So we will discuss only preparation of tender documents part in this series, and other parts will be discussed later in parts. Let us talk about the preparation of tender documents. Then probably first we have to decide which type of tender document we are going to adopt. Then we have to decide on splitting of tenders, even clubbing of tenders sometimes, and main important is eligibility criteria. Let us talk about adoption of tender documents. Now, in general, we are following item rate tender document or percentage rate tender document, and nowadays there is a EPC document or turnkey document which we are following. And if sufficient tenders are expected to be available, then any type of tender document can be adopted. But if it is not so, the adoption of certain type of document may also lead to manipulation conditions. Suppose EPC tender document is adopted for a work of rupees 3000 crores, and it has the condition for the eligibility, because in EPC designing and engineering is also to be done by the agency. Then suppose the condition is that the agency who has designed and executed a work of rupees say 2400 crores will only be eligible, then maybe that for such quantum of work only one or two companies are available, and then there may be a cartelization. Therefore, even for adoption of tender document becomes important. Suppose EPC tender is not there and item rate tender is there, and there are sufficient companies or agencies who have executed the work on item rate or percentage rate tender but not on EPC contract, then they will also qualify. Let us talk about the splitting of tenders. Now, splitting of tenders means suppose there is one sanction and this sanction is divided into many parts or many small tenders. So splitting of a sanction into small tenders may sometimes be for valid reasons. In case contractors with adequate capability and resources are not available in that place, or nobody is coming from outside, but such chances are few. Splitting may be done for distinct subheads. Sometimes, suppose for civil works there is a contract, then for E&M services there is another contract, and horticulture and landscaping there in other contract. Or maybe suppose sometimes there is a time lag of the activities, like say providing lifts or DG sets, and then the civil works are having different distinct subheads. So competent authority may decide to invite tenders for lifts when the lift well is almost ready. So splitting may be done for distinct subheads of works if there is a time lag of the activities as per site conditions sometimes, and these may be genuine reasons. But sometimes splitting may also be done deliberately to help few contractors to make them eligible, particularly those who are already working at site and having establishment at site. Suppose there is a sanction of 500 crores and the contractor who is doing the work at the site is eligible only for 200 crores worth, then he suppose the splitting is done, then he may qualify, and because he has the establishment at site, there is every likelihood that he will quote the lowest rates and he may get the work. Therefore, splitting may even be done deliberately. So it has to be decided consciously whether splitting is to be done or not. But in general, splitting should be avoided. Clubbing of tenders is also sometimes done, and clubbing may be done for better coordination during the project management. But sometimes clubbing may be done for helping few contractors. If suppose there are only few in the pool, suppose there are four contractors in the pool and you have four works, major works, and you have clubbed them into four groups, then maybe that if cartelization is there, then everyone will get the work, one work, and then this clubbing may be done for helping few contractors. So clubbing and allowing subletting should also be avoided, else this may lead to manipulation. Suppose initially the works have been clubbed and later on they are allowed to be sublet, then the main contractor will only may be getting sometimes the commission and really passing the work to some other contractor. Now eligibility criteria, as I have told, that this is very important in all the tenders, and this may have many components. It's not only one criteria but may have many components like similar work, satisfactory completion of certain works, financial turnover, profit and loss, cash flow, and so on. Now, eligibility criteria may be kept for the work interest, that is important, and that is a requirement considering the contractors having adequate resources and sufficient experience, they participate in the tender process. Then eligibility criteria can also be made very hard sometimes, that is deliberately done so that only few contractors qualify. So that is to be seen. Now suppose present work is for developing facilities of international level like Olympics, and the condition is kept that the agency should have done similar work of developing international sports facilities in last 7 years. And suppose India has never developed facilities for Olympics, and in last 7 years we know that such events are organized uh, at the at some frequency, and in 7 years only uh, one event might have been done in some other country. So the agency who has already done the work there in that country may only qualify here. So this condition, qualifying condition, is to be examined, and it is to be seen that there is really a competition and adequate number of agencies qualify for the condition. Then there may be tender conditions which may disqualify any tenderer without any even giving chances of representation. So this should also not be there, that just with the discretionary power you reject any tender. Many times disqualification may be due to valid reasons also. And then disqualification, if it is made discretionary, it may be to help some contractors. It is said. Like suppose there is a condition that inspection of works will be done and quality will be assessed without describing the criteria for the quality or qualification, then there may be complaints that the committee or the individual has gone for the inspection and he has really disqualified knowingly or deliberately. So what is important is that this is to be adequately described in the tender document. The criteria is to be described fully. Then there may be stipulation of only certain type of brands or materials or products of a particular manufacturer, or sometimes the brands are kept of the sister concerns, so only one person or one supplier or one manufacturer gets benefit of the same. Then suppose eligibility criteria for a work costing 500 crores rupees is capped, and then execution of 3 works as per CVC guideline is required. Suppose it is for 200 crores, say 40%, 3 works of 40% of value. And simultaneously, suppose a condition is kept that he is required to have experience of executing RCC of certain quantity, and which itself cost 210 crores. So even if the minimum value of 200 crore has been kept, but the condition which is included in the tender document of RCC quantity, that is so much so high that the agency may not qualify. So this is to be seen. And similarly, suppose annual financial turnover required for the work is only limited. Suppose the work is costing 500 crores, and in the contender it is asked for 1000 crores. So there is no meaning for that. So naturally, then it is considered that this is to manipulate the tender or to avoid or to weed out the contractors who are eligible for the tenders below 1000 crores. Similarly, suppose for a component of E&M works costing 50 crores, if you ask experience of having executed E&M works costing 200 crores, then certainly it is not considered the compatible eligibility criteria. Well, thanks for attending. I am K M Soni, ADG retired. Next time we will take up publicity of tenders. Thanks.